Hi everybody, I hope you're doing well today. I just wanted to shoot a little video just to see if other people can relate to this part of their life. And the part of life that I'm talking about is failing and failure, and how this is getting closer to a new year, and some of you might feel like you didn't accomplish much of the things that you had set out for 2016. So I'm here to tell you that I've been there, and I have failed, and I've failed big. And I guess to kind of tell you a little bit about that, I feel like in the past, maybe the biggest parts of the disappointment would be failing in different relationships. And of course, hindsight is 2020. But when I recall those moments, it didn't feel like I'd ever get over it. So when you're in that thick of emotion and you're feeling like there's just no better way that things could go, there is, and there always will be. And I think that's where I'm at. So it's really hard to bring myself back to that point. But I'll tell you, there were times where I had the biggest plans of, helping people with business, because I didn't know a lot about it myself, but I knew that I was a hard worker. And there were times where I would work for somebody else and give them everything I had and ask for very little in return. And when those types of things would blow up in my face, or I wasn't being recognized for the work that I did, or just being spited for the wrong things that I had no clue why, it was very hurtful. And I felt at times like, should I even be doing something like this? I should just go and work. My mom, she meant well, but she would always say, why don't you just go and get a waitressing job? And I did that in college, but why should that be my career? But she just had something steady for me, instead of dreaming about all these things and trying to do things that most people don't do. And I kept saying to myself, well, I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I have in my head as far as a vision for myself, and I wanted to keep going with that. And I always thought the best way I can get there would be that someone was going to recognize my potential. I would work so hard for somebody, and they would realize, wow, this person is so valuable. I need to move them up in my organization, and I need to give them what they're worth. So I worked really hard, and I sought people out where I wanted to be. So people who owned studios and, just had the resources that I didn't have at the moment, because especially around the time when I was getting a divorce, it was not feasible for me to be thinking of big leaps as far as, signing leases and doing other things. So I knew I could teach very well, and I knew I could make it so that I was innovating new programs, things like that. So there I was, helping different people, and I always found myself in a situation where I was getting really let down and betrayed, and it wasn't fun, and it really brought my confidence to a low. I was already feeling low from being in that position of getting a divorce, and I really didn't know any other way around it, because every time I would talk to somebody else, they would, meet me at that misery. They would always say, oh, me too, I'm feeling as badly as you. I just failed at this. And so we were comparing failure stories, and there we were, a bunch of failures talking to each other. And at some point, I knew that I couldn't continue with that. So I was seeking, and I loved studying stuff. So I guess it was inevitable that I would run into different information, or I just wanted to hear something different. I wanted to meet somebody who spoke differently. And thank goodness, because I met my husband. And I can't say it was all him that got me to where I am today, but he is a huge part of what keeps me moving forward. And I'm so thankful for him. But the things I had to learn in those stages of failure was that you can't change people. Sometimes you see the label that they present, but you need to recognize people's hearts, and you need to know what their motives are. And if their motive is that, hey, you're just free help and I'm going to still do what I'm going to do to keep myself being on top, maybe that's not the person that's going to be a best mentor for you. So I really had to say, if I can't find it, I'll be it. So instead of me looking for people to teach me, I was going to teach myself. So I started reading different books, getting into that business mindset. My husband introduced me to different books like Millionaire Next Door, Deepak, all these really interesting books about people who believe in just reaching into your soul and finding your own sense of power, and also realizing that certain things aren't hard. If there's a process, you can stick to it and you can do it. One of my favorite authors would have to be Napoleon Hill. And I love listening to this one interview that he did with Andrew Carnegie. I thought, all these things, why didn't I learn about this in school? So it's been a fascinating journey just on knowledge alone. So what I learned from them and what they spoke about failure was, hey, I was out there trying. I was learning as I went. And so what? You didn't do so well there. I wasn't meant to do well there. I wasn't meant to help that person grow their business because maybe it wasn't in their heart. Their intentions weren't what my intentions were. So here I am, growing my own business. I've been in business. The name Art Inspired I've had since 2000, since I graduated from college, kind of as a freelance business. And I said, I have this great name. I have this great website. Let's just start adding to it, the things I want to do. So I've been teaching in this area, and it was funny because I taught a lesson Tuesday and realized, wow, I've been teaching at that one place for about 11 years, and that really kind of made me smile. So I've been successful because who else has done that? At least, and feel happy about it still and feel great about continuing on. So to me, that's a great success because it's not a big task. It's hanging out with people that I love and showing them really great dance moves. And then also this week, I was talking to a couple of ladies that I train, and we do physical fitness type things together. And they just had the most beautiful testimonials to give me, and I just feel so appreciative. So I'm so super thankful to be in the position I am in today, changing a ton of lives, also realizing how much hurt could be put on other people because they're seeking and they want to get better and they're trying to improve their lives, and how many people might take advantage of that. And I want to feel like I'm different because I know how it feels, and I don't want anyone to feel like I felt. So I'm going to do what I can in my power to make sure that I'm different than that I'm saying, hey, there's enough room for all of us. We can all change our lives for the better. If I know something that you don't, I want to share it. And then if you learn something more than me, and one day I hope you share it with me. And that's what 2017 is really why it's so exciting to me, because I know that I'm learning more things, establishing new programs, creating more outlets so that we could all share. So if you have other things that you'd like, let me know. I'm here for you. Thank you so much for everything. Bye-bye.